Are you ready for the ultimate shocker? The 2023 Just 100 list is here, and it's packed with surprises. From expected climbers to major fallers, this year's list is sure to leave you on the edge of your seat. Will the reigning champion retain their spot at the top of the 2023 Just 100 list? And who are the biggest surprises of the year? Find out in the newest edition of the Just 100 list, featuring the biggest gainers, losers, and surprises of 2023. Alright, ready for some more juicy details on the Just 100 list? Because here we go. There were some other major movements on the list that are worth mentioning. Let's take a look at who's up and who's down among the 951 companies that Just Capital assessed. The companies that have made a significant leap up the ranks. Who's up? Who's up? Drumroll please. Bank of America. Who would have thought the tech industry's reign on this yearly ranking has come to an end? The big winner of this year's Just 100 list, Bank of America. They have been making their way up the ranks over the past 5 years, from position 104 in 2018 to position 5 in 2022, and now they've taken the top spot this year. But wait a minute, you might be thinking, what happened to the tech industry? They've been dominating the list for years. Well, even though the tech industry didn't experience a large fall overall on the list, they did lose the top rank as the American public's attention on employees grows. And let's be real, a lot of the main tech businesses have been laying off workers instead of increasing them. But even though the top spot on the list is now occupied by a bank, the tech industry is still well represented. The top 4 positions on the list from the previous year were all taken by IT companies, including Alphabet, and even this year, 5 IT firms were still represented in the top 10. nvidia, Microsoft, HPE, Apple, and Intel. Alphabet did take a bit of a hit, dropping to number 12. But here's the thing. This year's Just 100 list had the most representation in the banking sector, with 14 companies or 34.1% of all banks in the Russell 1000 compared to only 6 in 2022. And 8 banks joined the Just 100 compared to an average of 1 or 2 businesses joining or departing the list each year across all other industries. And it's not just the wages that help the banks. They also had an average ranking improvement of 127 spots in the yearly ranking's second most important factor, domestic employment and job creation. So, it's clear that the banking sector has been making some big moves, and it'll be interesting to see how they fare on the list in the future. Are you familiar with environmental, social, and governance analysis, or ESGA? Well, let's just say it hasn't always been on the best terms with Tesla, and their CEO Elon Musk isn't a huge fan either. But as you know what they say, change is the only constant in life. And it seems like things are definitely changing for Tesla. In fact, they've moved up on the annual Just 100 list for 2023, put together by the nonprofit Just Capital, founded by none other than billionaire hedge fund manager Paul Tudor Jones. Now you might be thinking, but wait, what about Elon Musk's opinion on all of this? Well, here's the thing. It doesn't really matter as much as you might think. And let's be real, the way he handled Twitter's layoffs probably didn't do him any favors in the key worker category that falls under social rankings. Let's take a closer look at how Tesla is doing in the grand scheme of things. Overall, Tesla landed at number 536 on the Just 100 list, and came in 6th place among the businesses in the auto industry. Last year, they were ranked 608th. According to Martin Whitaker, the CEO of Just Capital, the 72-spot jump on the list is definitely noteworthy. If you think about it, Tesla has been ranked in the lowest 10% of Just yearly rankings for the past 4 years. But over the past 2 years, they've been making their way up the ranks. Here's the thing, Just Capital wants to help Tesla improve. In May 2022, they presented 6 suggestions to the general public on how Tesla can enhance its performance in these areas. So stay tuned, folks. It'll be interesting to see if Tesla takes these suggestions to heart and makes some changes to improve their rankings in the future. Let's talk about some big names that have made a comeback on this year's Just 100 list: Amazon and Starbucks. Now you might be thinking, wait a minute. Didn't they not make the list last year? And isn't this list all about worker issues? Well, you're right on both counts. But here's the thing. Just Capital does not have a position on unionization, and their main focus is on data that can be reported and examined, such as wages and benefits when evaluating worker metrics. It can be challenging to assess a company's attitude towards unionization because there is so little comparative data. However, they do look into issues involving direct resistance to unions through their methodology for measuring controversies. And because of this, Amazon moved up to number 51 overall, from number 105 last year, which was just outside the just 100. The only year in the previous 5 that Amazon failed to place in the top 100 was just last year. Amazon was the greatest overall number of U.S. jobs in the rankings, estimated at 1,074,708, which has increased by more than 300% since 2017, and it is the second biggest measure in the rankings, even though it is now reducing jobs. This year, Starbucks scored number 1 in the restaurant industry and number 46 overall. So even though unionization isn't a main focus for Just Capital, it's clear that these companies have been making some big moves when it comes to worker issues, and it'll be interesting to see how they fare in the future. And on the flip side, we have companies that have taken a significant dip in the rankings. Who's down? Who's down? Drumroll please. Disney. The magical kingdom we all know and love took a major hit in the rankings. Can you guess where they ranked last year? 72. But this year, drumroll please, 198. But why, you ask? Well, it turns out that the company's dispute with Florida over LGBTQ+ regulations earlier this year, brought to light by former CEO Bob Chapek, was not taken into account when determining the company's score. It was a golden opportunity for Florida Governor Ron DeSantis to drive a wedge deeper into ESG problems, and Disney took a hit for it. This just goes to show that these rankings aren't always as simple as we might think. You know what's not so magical? Disney's performance on the Just Capital's annual ranking. Want to know why they took such a hit in the rankings? It's all about the jobs, or rather the lack of them. The American public ranked local job creation as the second most important problem, and Disney fell short in this area. In fact, they went from position 940 in 2017 with an expected 176,294 employment to position 940 in 2021, losing an estimated 38,152 jobs, or over 22%. Estimated 138,142 jobs. According to Martin Whitaker, the first CEO of Just Capital, the main problem that dragged them down is not DeSantis or any of that. Disney does well in some areas, he claimed, but it's the employment. And it's not only Just Capital that's criticizing Disney for its worker-related policies. They're not alone in this. So in short, while Disney may be a magical kingdom, they still have some work to do when it comes to creating jobs and taking care of its employees. Uber. Alright folks, you might have heard about some big names in the gig economy like Uber, Lyft, and DoorDash. And you might be wondering how they fared on the Just 100 list. Well, here's the thing. It's a bit complicated. Evaluating how these businesses handle their whole workforce is difficult, considering the differences between gig economy workers and professional personnel in white-collar jobs like those at Uber. So in 2022, Just Capital decided to place Uber, Lyft, and DoorDash under review. And now the results are in for this year, and let's just say it's not looking good for Uber. Just Capital made inquiries about the percentage of gig workers in these companies' workforces and any benefits available to these workers to public company sources. But since there was no proof that gig employees were protected by the perks or workplace regulations evaluated by the Just 100, the scores of these gig economy businesses were proportionately lowered across the data points in its worker metrics. As a result, Uber's total ranking dropped from number 41 to number 505, which is far outside the Just 100 ranks. Their ranking for the top concern, the living wage rate, decreased from number 570 to number 871. Its worker health and safety rankings dropped from 33 to 643 respectively. Its ranking for benefits and work-life balance fell from 117 to 623. That's a pretty significant decline. And it's worth noting that these are the stats for the year 2023. So it's clear that Uber still has some work to do when it comes to taking care of its gig economy workers, and we'll have to wait and see if they make any changes to improve their ranking in the future. According to Martin Whitaker, the CEO of Just Capital, we tend to give employers the benefit of the doubt. And last year, it was impossible to ascertain how many were gig workers and what their experience was. And it's not surprising to learn that the vast majority of gig workers did not receive benefits, as we were able to determine this year. But here's the thing, this is an ongoing issue, and there's still more work to be done in the coming years on concerns relating to gig workers and the necessity of polling the American public on the subject. The question of do they have to be treated the same or are there other things corporations can do is still up in the air according to Whitaker, adding that the gig economy is not going away. So we'll have to wait and see how things play out in the future as Just Capital plans to ask the public in 2023 and gather more information on how to evaluate these companies that have a significant number of gig economy workers. It's an important issue that deserves attention and we'll be keeping an eye on it. So there you have it, folks. The Just 100 list is always full of surprises, and it's always interesting to see how companies are performing when it comes to governance, social, and environmental challenges. Keep your eye on this list. You never know who might be on the rise and who might be in the fall next year. Remember, the biggest gainers and losers of the year are subject to change. But one thing's for sure, the surprises will always keep us on our toes. Don't forget to subscribe for more business insights and analysis. And we'll see you next time.